Welcome to Learn English with Fun with 𝙛𝙪𝙣. Hello there, this is Govind here. Welcome to Learn English with Fun with 𝙛𝙪𝙣. Twice every week, we focus on English grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. In today's episode, we are looking at an important piece of grammar that is rarely taught, the indefinite pronouns. We are going to look at 10 tricky indefinite pronouns in detail and what they are. Stay tuned. Remember, if you need any help with your English language skills, then be sure to check out with 𝙛𝙪𝙣 by subscribing to our Spotify podcasts or search Learn English with Fun. If you don't have a Spotify account, you can visit www.𝙤𝙪𝙣.com for the complete set of our podcasts, which are categorized as per the discussion. Do note that our podcasts are short and impactful and are posted twice a week. Well, let us get started. Let us first understand what are indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns are pronouns that do not refer to any person, amount, or thing in particular. For example, they are words like another, anybody or anyone, anything, each, either, enough, everybody or everyone, everything, neither, nobody or no one, nothing, one, somebody or someone, something, both, few, fewer, others, several, any, more, none, some, such. Some of these words might be easy for you, like everyone. So, I am going to skip those and concentrate on the tricky ones like fewer, each, both, and neither. Each of these words are very common and they each have a specific meaning. By learning the specific meaning, you will be much more confident to use them and know that you are using them correctly. In terms of grammar, indefinite pronouns can be a bit confusing because you need to know which verb follows the pronoun. For example, do you say each is or each are? Do you say neither does or neither do? Do you say everybody likes or everybody like? Let us make all of this explicit and learn everything there to know very well and get started. The first word that we are seeing today is another. Okay? So another has a weird double meaning. It has two meanings. It means one more, or it can also mean a different one. So let us imagine we are in an ice cream parlor. It is the best ice cream shop in your city. There are chocolate ice cream, strawberry ice cream, all sorts of ice creams. Of course, you can buy one ice cream, a single or singular ice cream, or you can buy multiple ice creams, more than one or plural. Let us say I have a chocolate ice cream and it is delicious. I mean, it's the best ice cream I've ever had, so I decide to order another one. I order one more. So, another here means one more. But let us say my friend orders a vanilla ice cream and it is disgusting. Seriously, it is gross, she can't eat it. So, she takes one bite and then decides she wants another one. For her, another means a different one. So, I want another chocolate ice cream, one more. But my friend wants another ice cream, a different one, because she can't eat the original one. The second verb that we are seeing is each. Okay? Each is an interesting pronoun. To understand how to use each, we need to imagine the ice cream parlor again. And this time, we are looking at a lot of ice cream choices. There are almost 100 varieties of ice cream in the shop, all different flavors. And you know what? I want each of them. So, what I am doing with each is referring to the individual ice cream within a larger group of them. I can pick out single ice cream from all of the ice creams and refer to a single ice cream as each. So, my friend asks me, which ice cream do you want? And I say, I am unsure. I think I want each and every one. This means I want all of them and I use each to refer to every single one of them. I could also say, each ice cream looks so good. Did you hear what I said there? Each looks. Each looks. What's going on with grammar here? Well, when we use each, we are referring to one or singular. One looks. One thing looks. Two things look. No S. So, each is singular. Therefore, we make sure we are using the verbs each is, as in each is delicious. Each has, as in each has a unique flavor in it. Each looks or each seems or each tastes, as in each looks delicious. Each seems sweet or each tastes amazing. Not all indefinite pronouns are singular, though we will meet plural pronouns later in this episode that are different. The third pronoun that we are going to see is either. We use the word either when we don't mind which one. We don't really care. So, let us say your friend brings two different ice creams to the table, a chocolate one and a strawberry one. She asks you, which one do you want? And you say, either, I don't mind. This means that you don't care if you get the chocolate one or the strawberry one or the other. It's all good to you. Now, do we say either is or either are? Well, technically, you are supposed to say either is fine. But a lot of native English speakers say either are fine. And so, both are fine to use. Next up, we have neither. Okay? So, we have looked at either. That means one or the other. Neither, on the other hand, means not this one or that one. Or as we say, neither this one nor that one. You don't want the chocolate ice cream or the strawberry ice cream. None. Zero. You want the butterscotch ice cream. So, if you are presented with two options and someone asks, which one do you want? And you don't want any of them, they both look gross, then you can say neither. Not this one and not that one. But what about this nor word? It's a funny word. It is only ever used with the word neither. So, you will hear either or, and you will also hear neither nor. In a phrase, you can say, I want neither this ice cream nor that ice cream, which means you don't want any of the two. Always remember that if you need additional help with your grammar, if you want to understand everything you hear or read and you want to express yourself completely, then check out www.𝙛𝙪𝙣.com, where you can take great online English courses on a range of different topics. Let us now look at the fifth word, the fifth indefinite pronoun called both. Both is pretty straightforward. Let us say there are two ice creams on the table, a chocolate one and a strawberry one. Your friend asks you, which one do you want? And you say both. You want to eat the chocolate one and the strawberry one. There are two and you want all of them or both of them. Now, both means two, right? So, if both means two, then the verb is going to change a little bit. So, do you say both is or both are? Do you say both does or both do? Do you say both tastes or both taste? This time, you drop the S and say both are delicious. Both taste delicious. So, in your mind, think of both as two things, not one, and then the grammar will magically happen to you. The sixth pronoun and the seventh, I combine it into similar, which are few and several. I am putting both of these together because they mean pretty much the exact same thing. If you say, I want a few ice creams or I want several ice creams, the meaning is the same. The formality, however, is a little different. Few is used in everyday speech, whereas several is more formal, so you might see it more in writing. In terms of meaning, they both refer to a number that is not one, not two, possibly 3, 4 or 5, but not a large number. And the number is not specified. That is, it is not an exact number. It could be between 3 and 5 maybe. There's a little difference in grammar between the two words. When you use few, you need to use an article a. So you say, can I have a few ice creams please? Whereas with several, you don't need an article. You just say, can I have several ice creams please? Of course, you wouldn't say this to someone working at the ice cream shop because they will be confused. How many do you want? Again, few and several are unspecific. Now, the pronoun few is a little tricky too. When you use it with an article, say a few, it means some of. We have compared this pronoun in our episode 10. So don't forget to check that episode of how to use the pronoun few to exactly mean what you're wanting to mean. The seventh pronoun that we are going to look is couple. A couple means two. This is a specific number. Of course, in everyday language, we think of a couple as a wife and a husband. Two people, a couple. But like all pronouns, we can use them to refer to things as well. So I can say, can I have a couple of ice creams, please? And this is specific. This means two. The ice cream seller will know exactly how many ice creams you want. Remember, if you need any help with your English language skills, then be sure to check out with 𝙛𝙪𝙣 by subscribing to our Spotify podcasts or search Learn English with Fun. If you don't have a Spotify account, you can visit www.𝙤𝙪𝙣.com for the complete set of our podcasts, which are categorized as per the discussion. Do note that our podcasts are short and impactful and are posted twice a week. The eighth word that we are covering in this episode is fewer. Okay? This one is interesting, and I am sure if you understand the word fewer, you will understand it better than almost all native English speakers who often make mistakes with this word. To understand fewer, we need to understand something a bit weird about English, and that is how we make a distinction between things we can count, like one ice cream, two ice creams, three ice creams, and the things we can't count, like water, air, or butter. You can't say one butter, two butter, three butter. For some reason, we think about some things as countable, able to be counted, and some things are uncountable, not able to be counted. As this is where the word fewer comes into play, and this is where we use it with less. So, the rule is this. If you can count the things, you use fewer, as in, I had fewer ice creams than my friend. And if you cannot count the thing, you use less, as in, I had less water than my friend. Fewer means a smaller number of, and less means a smaller amount of. That's another great way to see the difference between things you can count and things you can't count. For things you can count, think of them as numbers, 1, 2, 3. And for things you cannot count, think of them as amounts. Another way to think about countable versus uncountable is the difference between many and much. Many refers to things you can count, and much refers to stuff that you cannot count. I have many friends, 1, 2, 3, but I don't have much time to see my friends. Use many for things you can count and much for stuff you cannot count. Examples: fewer trains from here, fewer cars on the road, fewer ideas in my head. Then you have less butter in the fridge, less water in the tap, or less homework after school. Look, to be totally honest, it doesn't matter if you say I have fewer ice creams or I have less ice creams. Native speakers will totally understand you because they often don't distinguish between the two either. But if you do use fewer and less correctly, well, it sounds really good. The ninth word that we are going to see in this episode is any. Any is a strange little word. We can use any to refer to a thing or things or stuff, and we are being non-specific about it. We don't mind. We are just curious. So I might say, are there any ice creams left in the fridge? Here, I am not referring to a specific number of ice creams. I just want to know if they exist anymore, or did someone else eat them all? So I can use any with countable nouns like ice creams, or I can use any equally as well with uncountable nouns like water, time, or space, such as, do you have any time after work to meet? Or do you have any water left? Or is there any space in your bag for my t-shirt? I'm just curious about whether or not there is or there isn't something. That's when I use any. Lucky last, and this is kind of a formal one, the 10th word, such. Such. There are two types to use such. We can use such as an intensifying adverb to make something seem more intense. Like, there was such a good game. Such here adds emphasis to the adjective good. It was such a good game. Or sometimes we use such when we want to give an example of something, such as, did you hear how I used such there? I talk about something and then I say such as before providing the example. Let us say I want to talk about ice creams. I might say there are lots of ice cream shops in the city, such as Corner House, Baskin Robbins, and Naturals. So I provide an example or examples by using such as. And one more little thing I'd like to mention before we wrap it up in this cool phrase, which is such is life. Such here refers to everything that happens in life, the unpredictability of life. So if something is strange, unfortunate, or even fortunate happens to you, you can say, such is life. And don't miss out on the interesting and the fun part of this episode. As always, twice every week, we focus on English grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. And this interesting part will cover either the grammar, vocabulary, or the pronunciation in a very exciting way. Don't miss out. Well, coming to the interesting part for this episode, I am going to spell out a sentence and hold on for 5 seconds for you to understand and make meaning out of it. Okay, are you ready? Well, the sentence goes like this. The complex houses married and single soldiers and their families. Let me repeat. The complex houses married and single soldiers and their families. Well, did you make any sense out of that sentence? Is it a wrong sentence? Not at all. Grammatically, that's a correct sentence. This is what we call a garden path sentence. Though it is grammatically correct, the reader's initial interpretation of the sentence may be nonsensical. In other words, the sentence has taken the reader down to a dead end. Let me analyze the sentence now. The complex houses married. That is your first interpretation. How can the houses marry? Here, the complex is interpreted as adjective and houses is interpreted as noun by you. So, readers are immediately confused upon knowing about the sentence. How can the complex houses married? Interpreting married as the verb. How can they marry? And the noun houses is the verb. Now let me take the same sentence and explain how it is a valid grammar sentence. The complex houses married and single soldiers and their families. Now does it make sense? The complex, that means the building, it has married and single soldiers and their families. Now look at the fun part of it. If I interchange the soldiers accordingly, then you get the meaning in the first instance. To give you an example, the complex houses single and married soldiers and their families. Now you got it, isn't it? Now, simply put, this sentence meant the complex has soldiers who are single as well as married along with their families in that same complex. Wasn't it fun? Have a great time then. Great. Thanks so much for listening in. Hopefully, you found some of that very helpful for improving your English grammar. Remember to check out www.𝙤𝙪𝙣-𝙠 or follow us on Learn English with Fun podcast with Spotify to put some of this information into practice. Signing off now, this is Govind. See you in the next episode. Have a nice time.